So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can create an email sequence, and also I'm going to explain a bit more as to why having an email sequence is important. So first of all, why is it important? So you may remember this graphic which goes through the profitable firm progression model for accountants. So basically what it is that people hear about you for the first time, and what you want to do is you want to convert them into actual clients, so people that pay you for things, whether that's a long-term client or someone that initially just pays you for maybe a workshop or a product or something more specific or some training. But essentially you want to get them to be, clients that pay you each month or on a retainer basis, and maybe even do some bigger projects with you as well. So the whole idea of creating email sequences is to help you convert your leads into actual clients. So I'm going to go through some of the best practices for creating email sequences so you can start to implement them for your own accountancy firm. Just keep in mind, there are no set rules on what you should say specifically for every single email sequence. So I'm just going to teach you the principles, and then you can obviously adapt it to your own accountancy firm. So the first thing that you want to do is whenever someone registers as a lead, you need to basically indoctrinate them. You need to let them know what they can expect. This is such an important first email, and a lot of people miss this step out. The reason this step is important is because as soon as someone becomes a lead, this is going to be the point where they're most excited about opening your email and about hearing about what it is that you have to say. So if they maybe become a lead through a webinar or through maybe a guide that they download, or it could be anything. If they become a lead, you need to actually send them an email just to let them know who you are, what you do, and what they can expect from you. So you can have slightly different, indoctrination emails for each lead that they maybe, for each way that they maybe became a lead. But the important thing is that you have an initial email that gets sent immediately or very soon, as soon as they're a lead. So for example, in this email, I'm going to show you an example of one of our email sequences. So this is an example. If someone signs up to one of our Twitter webinars, this is the sequence of emails they'll receive. So the first one is that they'll receive that indoctrination email where we say, hey, you're registered, and then here's what you can expect from us. So we basically say, hey, that now that you're registered for the Twitter webinar, I want to take a moment to let you know what you can, I want to take a moment to welcome you and let you know what you can expect. So I'll go through what you can expect. The reason I'm doing this, and the reason you should do this for your own indoctrination emails, you need to tell people who it is that you actually are and what it is that you do. What do you specialize in? If you have a niche, what niche is that? If you're, particularly good at a certain area in accounting, if you're helping certain businesses with, with maybe certain areas in their own business, you need to tell them what it is that you really do and how you can help them. So the two things that we do is we want to grow your business and we want to make it easy and as stress-free as possible. They're the two things that we do. And we let them know that that's what we do in the first email we send them. And then we go into a bit more information as to why we use social media, and then we tell them what they need to do next. And this is very important because this email, this original email, the first email that you send people, is most likely going to get the most opens out of any emails that you send to people in the future. So you want to make sure that you can do as much as you can to stay connected to your leads and to make sure that your leads receive your content. So what we do is we tell them to do two things, and not everyone does this, just so you know, but it's important that you at least tell them to do that because some of them will, and it's going to make a big difference. So the first thing we say is to make sure that if they're using Gmail, if they're using any whatever email provider they're using, that they whitelist any emails from us so that they don't miss anything, so that nothing goes to their spam box. So that's just a very simple first step. The second thing that we tell them to do is to connect with us on social media. So we have links to our different social media channels. We also have links to my personal social media channels as well, so that they can connect to us very easily on their favorite platforms. And what's the reason behind us telling them to do this? You'll see time and time and again, it's so that they don't miss anything, because we send out a lot of valuable, good, important content that can help their business. And again, we don't want them to miss anything. So that's why we say, hey, make sure that you're always receiving emails and you prioritize emails from us, and make sure that you connect to us on social media again, so that you don't miss any content that we share. So in your case, you can do exactly the same. Obviously, you can tweak the words and all that. Don't copy this word for word, but you want to make sure that people, number one, they save your emails, they expect to get your emails, and they know that your emails are not going to be spammy, but they're going to be valuable to them. And secondly, you will also want to allow people and give them the opportunity to connect to you on your different social media channels, because on your social media channels, what you should be doing, and we've got other videos that covers this, is you should be posting each day, and that again builds up more trust and more of a relationship with people. So let them connect to you on whatever social media channels you're using and whatever they feel more comfortable in. So that's the first email you should send all your leads, is that indoctrination email, to let them know mainly what it is that you actually do, how you help people, and also how they can take action to make sure that they stay connected to you in one way or another. Now, the next few emails that we send them is providing more value. So after they've gone to the webinar, they've watched it, or maybe they haven't watched it, it doesn't really matter. We send them another email saying, how was the Twitter webinar? And we just give them the opportunity to watch the recording if for any reason they missed it. So it's a very simple, short email saying, hey, how did you find the Twitter webinar? Actually, sometimes we get quite a few people replying back to this saying, hey, yeah, we really enjoyed it, or, whatever. And, on others, they just click on the recording because they maybe missed the actual event or the day that the webinar was running. So they just watch the recording instead. So again, providing value. Then we send them another email providing more value to them, with 2 more Twitter tips. And then the next email we send them is actually a bit more salesy, saying, hey, we can actually do this for you, in case you didn't know. But you'll notice that we don't go straight to the sort of promotional message first. We actually, first of all, start out with providing value to them first. So there's like 2 or 3 emails providing value first. And you'll notice that these emails are not sent straight away. Well, the first one is sent straight away, but the next one is sent 7 days after, and the other one is sent 1 day after that, and then this one is sent 3 days later. So we space out those emails so that they're not bombarded with too much information all in one go. And then this email is actually where we say, hey, we can do it for you. Here's what you need to do. Reply back to this email with who your potential customers are, and then we'll do some initial research on your behalf to let you know what kind of potential there is to find your customers on Twitter. So this is if people want us to do it for them. And we get people replying back to this email and actually booking a meeting with us. I even have a link for them to book a free consultation with me at the bottom. And this is what we use to start to get those leads to actually convert into customers. And then the last few emails, again, is providing more value. We don't want them to think that all we're trying to do is sell to them, but we generally want them to think that we are here to help them. And we can help them either by doing it for them, or we can help them, by providing some content that teaches them and educates them. So for your own accountancy firm, provide value to them first with content. It could be about how they can manage their finances, how they can manage their different things inside Xero or QuickBooks or whatever it is that they're using, how they can improve their cash flow, how they can get paid on time. There's so many things you can talk about that provides value to people, and then say, hey, if you don't want to do this yourself, if you don't want to do your bookkeeping yourself, if you don't want to do all your accounts yourself, or if you're not getting great results from your existing accountant, or maybe communication isn't as good as you want to, we can actually help you with this, and give them the opportunity to reply back or to book a meeting with you. And that's going to actually help you convert those leads into actual customers. Now, just keep in mind that we do this only after we provide value first. So you have to generate the lead, provide value first, and then maybe offer them something promotional. But don't be scared of offering them something promotional. A lot of people think, oh, I don't want to sell to people on my list because they might unsubscribe, or I might annoy them. But remember, at the end of the day, you have a business. So, people know you're there to make money and to grow your business and to get clients. So as long as the main things that you're sending out is providing value and content to people, by all means, you should be sending out other emails that are more promotional to actually convert these people into clients. Otherwise, how else are they going to know that you can actually help them by doing all of this for them? And then after they receive this email, whether they reply back or not, we have a few more emails, again, providing more value. This is another article that we have. And then we also have, finally, the end of the sequence is a link to our podcast, where they can just subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or Google Play or whatever. just to continue to learn more things. And it's just another way to get our content in front of them, get them to take action. So it could be that for some clients, this is the sequence that they need in order to take action and work with us. And for other clients, you'll find that maybe it's still not the right time, they still don't trust you enough, they still don't know you enough, or maybe they don't have a need just right now for what it is that you do. So what happens at the end of the sequence, after you've gone through all of this with your leads, the next step is you make sure that you send out a monthly broadcast to people with your latest and best content. So we spoke about this in the previous the previous video I recorded about creating email broadcasts. You should be sending out a broadcast really about once a month with your latest and best content. And then whenever someone interacts with your latest and best content, especially if that content is like a webinar or something that they can, something that indicates that they're interested in a certain area that you cover, you can then send them another sequence of emails. So what you'll find is that even though you get some people replying back to the broadcast and people saying, hey, actually, yeah, this is something I need help with, you'll find that most of your leads and most of your conversions will come as a result of the sequences. And the sequences are also a lot more fast paced. So you'll see that they're like 7 days after, 1 day after, 3 days after that we send them emails. This whole sequence is a 25-day sequence, whereas the broadcast, they're just once a month. So it's really important that you do both. So the broadcast is to continue to provide value, to build up trust, and the broadcast is really to provide another sort of way of getting them interested in something else that you can help them with. And if they maybe click on an email or they sign up to a webinar, they do some other form of action, they download a guide that indicates they're interested in this sort of subject, then you want to have a sequence of emails that goes out to them on that subject. So just another last example as to how this would work, or how this one has worked in the past, so you can sort of use the same principles, is we send out a broadcast to people saying, hey, register for this Twitter webinar. Now, the ones that register for the Twitter webinar, they'll then get put into this sequence of emails. The ones that don't register for the Twitter webinar, we do not send them this sequence of emails, because that's how you can annoy people. They didn't show any interest in that particular subject, so we're not going to send them more emails on that particular subject. We'll just keep them on our monthly email broadcast, so that if there is anything they are interested in the future, we'll just have different sequences for the different content that we send out. So hopefully that makes sense. And again, if you need me to clear anything up for you, or if you have any more questions about creating sequences, just let me know and I can go into that in a bit more detail. But for now, just make sure that you not only send out broadcasts, but when people take specific actions for specific, lead generation campaigns that you're running, that you have a sequence of emails that automatically get sent out to them. And that sequence of emails is really where the money is. That's really where you're going to get the most conversions and, more people actually replying back and responding to you and seeing if you can actually help them. And just one final tip on creating sequences, this is pretty obvious, but I just want to say it just to make sure that the sequences that you have are also related to what it is that you're doing. So if someone signs up to a webinar on, how to manage your cash flow, you want to have a sequence of emails that would discuss that topic about managing your cash flow and things that would be, maybe around that topic as well, maybe software that they can use to manage their cash flow, things that they need to keep in mind, all that stuff. So just make sure the sequences would be related to what it is that you can actually potentially help them with.